Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports back in another video today. And today, the Phoenix Suns have fired head coach Frank Vogel after one season when they went 49-33, but got swept in the first round against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think Frank Vogel is the best fit for the Suns, but, honestly, I've watched how good the Timberwolves have been. Not only this series, the regular season, not only this series against the Suns, but I've watched them how good they've been in the regular season, this series against Phoenix, and then the series that they're currently in right now against Denver. But the way we're seeing them kill Denver, is it a surprise that they beat Phoenix down like that? I mean, they're a great defensive team. They have great star power in Karl Towns, Rudy Gobert defensively, and Anthony Edwards. I'm sorry to do that to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert's a solid offensive player, but everything I would say 70% of what he brings to the team is defensively, which is amazing because I think he's one of the top defensive players of all time because he's about to set a record for Defensive Player of the Year. Just won his 4th Defensive Player of the Year. So at one point we're going to be talking about him potentially being, up there as one of the best defenders of all time, one of the best, center defenders of all time, big man defenders of all time. I think that's the kind of the impact he makes on this Timberwolves team, the kind of impact he's made in his career. Enough about Rudy Gobert. With how much star power that Minnesota Timberwolves team has, and we've seen them dominate a Denver Nuggets team at home, can I also mention that the Denver Nuggets are the best home team in the NBA, only lost twice last postseason during their championship run at home. Both were in the NBA Finals. They did not lose at all. They did not lose to a Western Conference team in the playoffs last year at home. Yes, they did drop some games, 2 to Phoenix. They didn't lose any games to LA. They played the Minnesota Timberwolves last year in the playoffs, only lost 1 game. So they only got beat 3 times in the Western Conference. All of them were on the road. Denver was fantastic at home. But Minnesota, in the altitude, has come in to Denver and taken them out. So with seeing how they've dominated Denver and how good they've played against Denver, I think it makes Phoenix look a little bit better here if you're going to look at how bad they got beat. Look what they're doing to Denver now. But at the same time, look, if you would have played Minnesota or not, there were still problems in this organization. I think Durant and some of the other players on this team were frustrated as the way Frank Vogel was coaching. And honestly, I don't know how many more chances Frank Vogel's going to get as a head coach. This was his 4th head coaching job. Phoenix, which, 1 season. LA, which was 2 or 3 seasons, I believe. Yeah, 3 seasons with the Lakers. And one of the seasons was an NBA championship, so that definitely does help his background. But, look, it was a bubble championship. I'm not one of those persons to say that the championship doesn't count, but it is a lot easier to win a bubble. It's a lot easier to win a championship when there are no fans. I'm not going to say that ring doesn't count. It is a ring. Though it was very hard for the mental state of players to go out there and play when you're away from your families and your friends and life is not normal. So yes, you can think about how there are not fans in that situation, but at the same time, yes or no fans. But that's not the right mental state for some of those players that were playing in the bubble. And players have come out and talked about, how bad the bubble was for them, being away from their family and their loved ones. So, that was not a fun time for anybody in this world. It really wasn't. Honestly, I'm not going to say that ring doesn't count, but that is on his background. And then he had some nice years as the Indiana Pacers head coach, where they went to the Eastern Conference Finals once, had some good years with Paul George. And then he had 1 season or 2 seasons with the Orlando Magic that were absolutely dog shit. So, he has a background where, good, very solid as the Lakers head coach, very good as the Pacers head coach, very terrible as the Magic head coach, and then with Phoenix, he was okay, but got fired after 1 year. So does that background get him another job is what I'm saying? But who does Phoenix bring in? I think the favorite has to be Mike Budenholzer. Out of everybody that you could bring in, I think he has the best background. He has the most experience, a 2-time head coach of the year, 1-time NBA champion. He is from the city of Phoenix. I think he is a great fit for the Phoenix Suns. And let me know your thoughts, and peace out.